Well, our next guest creates a great deal of havoc in a small town called Port Charles. And Robert Scorpio, on Love in the Afternoon's #1 soap, General Hospital, he has even gone so far as stealing his best friend's main squeeze. And, of course, I know millions of American women viewers would like to steal him. I'd like you to welcome to Kelly and Company, Tristan Rogers. Sexy. What do you think of all that? Now, how do you feel? What do you think when you come out? Are you embarrassed by that?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. It's when they stop, then you've got to start to worry.
You like being a sex symbol?
Well, it's all relative, you know. I've never sort of looked upon it that way. It's a sort of the part of the business that I don't tend to think about per se, you know, about being a sex symbol as such. I mean, whatever a sex symbol is.
We've never really defined it, but there is something, and it's not a new question or anything, but I do wonder how. I mean, I know that you're a serious actor. You've been doing this for a long time, and to be called a sex symbol, I've often wondered how it makes a person feel, male or female.
Well, I guess it depends on, you know, which end your ego's coming from. If that's the sort of
thing you need.
Yeah, if that's the sort of thing you really want to get involved in, and that's the only part of it, if that's all the industry means to you, well, ultimately it'll be the end of you, because there comes a time when you're no longer a sex symbol.
That's right. That's right. Time does march on. How did you get the role of Scorpio?
Well, I auditioned for it, along with about 60 other people. They didn't know what they wanted at the time. And,
isn't that the truth? They don't lots of times, do they?
They never know what they want in a general hospital. I mean, really.
They never know. They just sort of keep auditioning, and all of a sudden...
Right, they hope something will fall into place. Like it's a photographer that takes 50 rolls of shots, you know. He figures that out of 50 rolls, one of them's going to work. And a lot of that applies to casting as well. I mean, they have hundreds of people that come in for a role, and they just hope they'll get lucky. And, I mean, I got lucky. I mean, that's exactly it. It was just a case of being in the right place at the right time.
It's so true. At the right place at the right time, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it'd be nice if you could sort of plan it a little bit more.
I know it was coming up. Now, your accent, Australian accent, your homeland, did that give you any problems when you first came over to this country to try to get parts here? Yeah, it gave
me a lot of problems.
Did it?
The stock reply was, you know, you'll never get a job with an accent like that. You know, people just don't talk like that in the real world.
That's funny. That seems funny to us now, though, doesn't it? That does, because it's a lovely accent. And I read that you worked on losing the accent.
Well, I'd practically lost it when I went up for the job at General Hospital, and I walked in there sort of all ready to sort of do my idea of an American accent. And the producer said, no, let's hear the real you. And so, I mean, I did the first reading, which was abysmal. A terrible audition I did. And I kept on going back. I was called back and called back and called back and called back. By the time I'd done 3 interviews, I knew I'm doing something right. Now, I don't quite know what it is, but I'm doing something right. Got the job.
Do an American accent. Do us.
Well, I don't do that one anymore.
Have you forgotten? Have you really forgotten?
Yeah, I'd have to sit down and I'd have to sit down and work on it. But it'd probably take me, I guess, probably about an hour. And I'd work it around the script. The trouble with doing an accent, you've got to become completely at home with it. Otherwise, the accent starts to dominate and the performance sort of goes down the toilet.
You're thinking about the accent all the time and every word you say.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. You and Luke Spencer, the characters, have sort of a love-hate relationship in General Hospital.
More hate than love at the moment.
More hate than love, and that fluctuates. In real life, how do you and Tony get along?
Fine. I mean, you know, we don't take vacations together, but
I
you know, but I mean, we work together so often that at the end of the day, I mean, we're our two least favourite people, and so consequently, that you know, we don't socialise, but very good. I mean, we do have an ability to sort of anticipate what the other's going to do and be able to tap into that, and so consequently, we're sort of constantly trying to one-up each other.
Now, you did soaps in Australia and also in Britain. And you were a very successful model in Europe before all this even started. Do they, in their soaps in Australia and Britain, do they make their stars such big stars?
No.
I mean, are you recognized and mobbed on the streets like
Well, you're recognised, but, I mean, they don't come up and try to rip your clothes off. Or,
Do they hear? Do they hear?
Yeah, I've had a few tricky
Have you lost
situations.
any things along the way?
No, I've generally managed to sort of, you know, be able to hide in the bathroom or something before they get that close. But, yeah, I've been in a few situations which were a bit frightening.
It is frightening, isn't it?
Well, you've got, 2,000 people trying to jump into your car.
It's more so, though, in this country, isn't it? Definitely, than it is.
Very much so. The public over here really sort of like to idolise their, inverted commas stars. They like to sort of put you up on that pedestal. And they don't do that as much in England. It's sort of, everything is sort of tends to be at a much more ground level, so to speak. So the public, although they like you and they, admire your performance, they don't sort of go crazy about you.
Are their soaps different over there? Is there any different?
Much so. Well, soaps really is sort of a, how can I put it? Soap is a formula which really doesn't change the world over. It's the same everywhere. It's the interpretation down the line, and this is where General Hospital sort of veers away from the accepted formula of soap, and we've been doing that now for 4 years, and that is that General Hospital is the only daytime show which sets about creating pivotal characters in the show. All the other soaps have got about 8 storylines running, and never the twain do meet. I mean, everybody just does their own thing, but in GH, there's one major storyline, and the entire town revolves around it. There might be 2 or 3 other subsidiary ones, but ultimately, and pivot around this one major storyline. Now, at the moment, we're going back to science fiction again, and doing this,
Like you did, what, about a year ago? Was it about a year ago?
The Ice Princess,
yeah. The Ice Princess.
Well, we're going back to something not the same as that, but we're going back to a science fiction flavour again. So it's, it's madness time in there.
That's a popular thing, the science fiction thing, isn't it? I guess you wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't popular, and if they didn't think it was...
It's a bit difficult. When we did the Ice Princess, nobody understood what it was all about, including the actors. I mean, you asked me what that storyline was all about, and it was...
I heard that. You didn't know yourself what
it was a high camp romp, really. It had nothing whatsoever to do with reality. I mean, let's face it, a guy that's a crazy weather fiend who wants to freeze good old Port Yuck. I mean, give me a
you're married, and how does your wife feel about all the attention that you get? How does she handle that? From women fans?
It's
from
business.
Women fans?
It's business.
It's business.
Yeah, it's
Strictly
part of the
no
business.
problem.
It's part of the territory, and, I guess that, she could get very upset and frustrated about it, but that hasn't happened, and she has come to realise that it's part of being in this position that I'm in, and it just goes with the territory. So, better to accept it, I think, than go crazy trying to rationalise it.
Tristan, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll be back, and I'll be out in the audience, get some questions for you. We'll be right back.